Hello everyone, this is Dr. Live with New Insight, and thanks so much for joining me in another video. Please be sure to like, comment, and subscribe to the channel, and thank you so much for all of your support. In today's video, I will be discussing anxious attachment and ways to become more securely attached. So let's get right into the discussion. So how do you become more securely attached? First, you have to address your core issues. It is imperative that you address your core issues. And this can be trauma, trust issues, insecurities, low self-esteem, anxiety, and so on. This is first and foremost. Without doing so, you tend to take these issues into the relationship, and this will certainly affect how you give and receive love, as well as your relationship security. So for example, if I have trust issues due to being abused, abandoned, or cheated on, these experiences lead to the formulation of certain thoughts, beliefs, and assumptions known as cognitive distortions or cognitive errors or thinking errors. And these cognitive distortions or thinking errors are related to perceptions about myself, my potential partners, and about love, relationships, and so on. And the issue with the cognitive distortions and thinking errors is that they are based off faulty, distorted, as the name implies, unhealthy, and unhelpful conclusions. And sometimes these conclusions are completely irrational or based off feelings and not facts. So now you have these cognitive distortions or thinking errors in your heart and in your mind as you enter the relationship. And then something happens where you're triggered. And the trigger can be external, internal, or both. But once you're triggered, the trigger activates the cognitive distortions or thinking errors. And once they're activated, they will affect your mood and behaviors. So now you're thinking away, you're feeling some type of way, and you're acting some type of way. And typically this way is not positive, healthy, or beneficial for you or your partner. For example, once activated, the thinking errors can cause you to frequently question your partner, become paranoid and hypervigilant, always assuming the worst, constantly accusing your partner of inappropriate behaviors, feeling anxious, always worried about the partner cheating or abandoning you. And all of the while, you're becoming rigid, obsessed, hyper-focused, accusatory, controlling, and dependent. And of course, this doesn't cause you to show up in a way that's pleasant for building or maintaining a healthy relationship dynamic. Now, what can worsen this anxious attachment and the cognitive distortions or thinking errors is if your partner is actually saying or doing things that are inappropriate in the relationship, because these experiences will also create and reinforce the anxious thoughts and feelings you already have. So for example, if the partner has cheated, has been caught doing inappropriate things such as flirting with other men or women, texting someone inappropriately, sending pictures, videos, DMs, and so on and so forth. Or if your partner doesn't communicate properly about whereabouts, doesn't set appropriate boundaries with friends of the opposite sex, all of this can worsen the insecurities or anxieties you already have, as well as create new ones. So what do you do? Regarding the partner, always be assertive from day one. No matter how much you like the person, no matter how eager and excited you are to be in a relationship or start a relationship, always be assertive. Make your needs, expectations, and boundaries known and understood before you become serious with someone. And if your feelings are dismissed or ignored, make sure you're being firm, clear, and specific, assertive in your communication. And be sure that you enforce the consequences, not just talk about them, but enforce the consequences if your boundaries are violated. But if the behaviors continue, now you need to put separation between you and the person and possibly end the relationship. If you're with someone who is constantly dismissing and invalidating your feelings and disrespecting you, or someone who doesn't communicate with you, this is not something you need to stick around and try to figure out or understand. This is how we get stuck. Yes, we, myself included. This is how we get stuck, trying to figure out the other person's behavior, why their words and behaviors are inconsistent, not matching up, trying to do the work for them, making excuses for their behavior. This will only reinforce your anxious attachment. So you have to fight the urge and tendency to do this, and instead understand that what matters is not why they're doing it. What matters is that they are doing it. They are violating your boundaries. They are neglecting your needs, and they are not correcting the behaviors. So now you have to enforce what you need to in order to protect yourself, regardless of how you feel about them. So please be mindful of doing this. Do not get caught in the trap of trying to figure out another person's behavior or fix them. Your anxious attachment will cause you to go into panic mode, wanting to investigate, problem solve, put the pieces together, become a detective, trying to make sense of or get down to the root cause of somebody else's behavior issue. Your anxious attachment will also cause you to blame yourself in many cases, and therefore put up with the behaviors because you feel responsible. But please don't do it. Yes, it's natural to be inquisitive, to want answers, to want to know why, to feel the way you feel, but that doesn't mean you need to act on the way you feel. Now, with your own insecurities, you have to do some cognitive work, meaning thinking work, mindset, to challenge and change and restructure those cognitive distortions and thinking errors. And you also have to do some behavior work to stop all of the counterproductive habits and behaviors that are reinforcing the anxiety. And sometimes you're not aware of your own behaviors that are reinforcing the anxiety. For example, the detective work you do, being hyper-focused on your partner, being too clingy and dependent on or reliant on external validation from your partner. Doing the cognitive work and behavior work, along with some distress tolerance to manage the stress and anxiety of not giving in to the urges and impulses, will help you become more securely attached. So let me give an example of the behavior work. When your partner is out with a friend or family member, for example, regardless of if they have previously done something to violate your trust or not, instead of calling or texting them every 30 minutes or watching the clock, you will go engage in a self-care activity instead, or a social activity of your own with your own family or friends. You will do anything that is following the DOC acronym, different, opposite, and challenging, so that you break the usual behavior or habit of being hyper-focused on their whereabouts or calling or texting them or watching the clock. This is behavior modification. Or you could also call or text one time, or allow your partner to call or text you rather than you calling or texting at all. But you get the point. The point is to not engage in the behavior that reinforces the anxious attachment. And again, if boundaries are repeatedly violated and nothing you say seems to matter or be taken seriously, and the behavior doesn't change, this is all you need to know. Don't let anxious attachment pull you into the other realm of being psychologist, detective, etc. Enforce your consequences and move accordingly. This will make you anxious. This will be stressful, but it will save you a lot of time, headache, and heartache. The most important thing to remember in order to become securely attached is to address your core issues and form healthier thinking patterns and start doing things more independently. Things that make you step outside of your comfort zone, things that cause you to go against what your anxious thoughts and feelings are telling you, things that will help you build competency, things that will help you build your self-esteem, things that are fun and rewarding, so that you can build a life and new habits that help define you outside of the relationship. And building self-esteem and happiness for yourself will help you to become securely attached. That's very important, very key. So please be sure to check out my videos. I have some videos on the ABC, building happiness, self-love. I have an animation video on relying on external validation. I have an animation video on trauma and relationships, and videos on challenging and changing cognitive distortions and automatic negative thoughts and core beliefs. All those videos have plenty of practical and helpful tips and strategies and tools on this subject matter that will be helpful for you in building healthy self-esteem, self-love, and becoming more securely attached. So remember, you have to be willing to address the problem, even if your own thinking and habits is part of the problem. And this is with anything you're trying to change. So changing your mindset is key. For example, as it relates to the example given earlier, it will be key to change faulty beliefs you formulated about men or about women, love, dating, or marriage, because this will surely affect how you function in relationships. So you have to address those cognitive distortions, those thinking errors, those negative core beliefs. So I hope this helps. Please be sure to check out the videos I mentioned. They will be very helpful to you. And message me down below with any questions or concerns, as well as share your thoughts on this topic. And we will talk soon. Thank you so much.